Hey, there we go. You can't get enough of an Irish jig on the St. Patrick's Day weekend. A special custom intro to the show this morning. I'm Tim on what's going to be probably the nicest day today of the weekend with sun and 53. Tomorrow, a little change. Gets windy, and that's bringing in cooler air, 44, 35-mile-an-hour winds. Sunday is St. Patrick's Day, sunny, just 32, still 30-mile-an-hour winds. So hang on to your green Irish hat with St. Patrick's Day weekend. I've got quite a bit of Irish in me. They say about half. But I thought, what would be more Irish than adding another Burns to the show? Everybody, my friend, Dan Burns.
Hey, good morning.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Good morning, my brother. As you always say, my brother from another mother.
That's right. Not related as far as we know, but
well, I suspect somewhere down the road we are.
Yeah.
Just watching you and listening to you and watching your antics, and I'm like, yeah, we're right there.
My antics. By the way, if you're watching this, if you add any comments like this, hello, Damon, or questions or commentary, there we are, Tim and second Burns.
Right. I'll take that. I'll take that chair all day long.
It'd be fun to pop you up here. You know, I looked it up because, like I said, I just always heard I'm half German and half Irish, but the Burns would be the Irish part. I've never had a test. Have you done? You know,
I have not, but I suspect that I'm quite Irish. just because
you got the look. You have the look.
It's a lifestyle. You know, it's I'm always, if I do something stupid, I hang it on that Irish hat.
I looked up some info on the Burns surname.
Yep.
It's first established that the name Burns is in fact a clan having territories in the eastern border marches of Scotland, where the original name was Berness.
Well, they spelled it with a Y.
Yeah, and then an ESS on the Berness.
Right.
And even Robert Burns, the famous poet, agreed to shorten his name because it was difficult to pronounce the original Berness.
Well, yeah, you know, you have a pint or two, and you know, there it goes. I mean, that it's going to be a slur.
But wait, here's the kicker.
Oh, here's
the Burns clan was described as an unruly clan. Is that tracks?
Well, imagine that. I mean, what? No,
unruly
clan.
Come on.
Yeah, you know, I could see that. But my dad did with an iron fist and a belt that came off like really fast.
Oh. When you were unruly?
Oh, but you know what? I never took a spanking that I didn't deserve. I mean, I got away with a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Wow. Controversial right off the bat.
Well, you know, that's Irish way. It's amateur weekend.
Well, it's up there, yeah, with New Year's Eve, Super Bowl weekend. St. Patrick's Day is
fishing opener. You know, there's all kinds of wannabes out there. I'm Irish. No, you're not.
Well, you would probably know with your history as a sheriff's deputy, right? Is that what?
Yeah. No, I spent 39 years in law enforcement. I started out in Clarkfield, and then I came here in Candioi County in 1985 and retired. So I started May 5th, 1985, and I retired May 5th, 2023.
Wow.
So 38 years, and they flew by.
I got to bring something up here.
I see my wife she's commenting on the unruly.
Not surprised. Your wife would know.
Surprised.
But speaking of unruly, there was a little AM station I used to work at where we would look at the police blotters. And one real one I remember from Montevideo was somebody called reporting a man standing in the lawn acting strange.
Yeah.
So
that happened.
Check some of these out.
All right.
Deputy responded to a report of a vehicle stopping at mailboxes. It was the mailman.
Yeah.
How about
So
this one?
that's cool.
3:35 a.m. A woman on Serrano Road said two people were in her backyard cutting her marijuana plants. Get a sheriff's deputy over here.
That's right. That's a felony. That is a felony. You don't just go in there and cut somebody else's salad, man. You don't do that.
Salad. Here's one. Wait a minute. A man came to the sheriff's department to find out how to legally kill a person who was harassing him. What would I have to do to pull that off?
Sheriff? I've got some ideas. I've got 39. I've probably picked up an idea or two.
Just one more here. This is a longer one. The Learning Center on Hanson Street reports a man across the way stand at his window for hours watching the center, making parents nervous. Police ID'd the subject as a cardboard cutout of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, it's not a tumor. He was probably doing some research on his kindergarten cop role or something. I don't know, but yeah, could be worse.
He was a good neighbor.
He was a good neighbor, and he'll be back.
That was one of my favorites from the Super Bowl. Like a good neighbor, it's neighbor. That's what I said, neighbor.
It's good a neighbor. Yeah.
I'm getting my brand up here now. Do you have any memories of a strange call or two from back in the day? What'd you have to show up for?
Where to start? When I first started in law enforcement, the chief of police in Clarkfield said, well, you can do whatever you want, he said, but you gotta, just remember you gotta live in this town. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I picked up on that note. But he goes, before he took off, he goes, let me know when you meet the wizard. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, what? Well, so there was a gal that lived next to the school in Clarkfield, and her name was Burnett Oz. And
is there a HIPAA issue here?
I don't think so. Okay. She's long since passed, and I don't know that she had much for family, but she definitely had some mental health issues. And so when I went there, she had these eyebrows that were like painted on, they looked like small tints. And I really didn't hear anything she had to say about what she had called to complain about, because all I could do was stare at her eyebrows, and it was so I'm like, oh, so right away the chief's words resonated. Oh, the Wizard of Oz. Oh,
now that's a horse of a different color.
It is. And so that was a huge eye opener for me as to what I was going to get into over the next 39 years. So then when I got done dealing with her, then I drove over to the chief's house, and I said, pretty sure I met the wizard, and he just started laughing. And it's like, yeah. And so we had lots of calls over there. There were just calls where people would call, and you'd go there, and you got to be like, you got to be kidding me right now. But,
well, at least if you're staring at her eyebrows, at least that's close to the eyes.
Oh, well above the the neck. So
that's where I was trying to go.
It's pretty much eye to eye contact, just a little bit higher.
Be less noticeable than if got some growth on her neck.
Right.
Look at this here from Alyssa. I was crossing my fingers for some bagpipe playing this morning. Are you boys gonna show up to start the weekend off right? How about slamming a green beer contest?
Well, I got a beer here, but it's not green. Yeah.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. That's the Irish way.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're a good Irishman. And we can say that because we're Irish, right?
And it's not every day is St. Paddy's Day to me. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Molly. Here's another Mr. Burns and Mr. Burns.
Oh, boy. Mike. Yeah.
Thanks for checking in. So in retirement then, you continue to do a lot of singing around.
Yep, as much as I can get away with. So we had some personnel changes this past year, whatever, and we decided to switch the name up to Jukebox Live. So it's like you could get me. You're always going to get me, unfortunately, because it's
You
like
got the equipment, you got the soundboard.
Exactly. It's like that kid back in the day that had the bat and the ball and all that stuff, and so he automatically was invited to the game. So that's me. And then I've got 2 gals that I sing with, Colleen and Bree, and they're amazing. But I still do some work with Jason. We've got some stuff coming up too. And tonight I'm out at Cheers for St. Patty's Day. It's just me though. So you gotta know what you're showing up for. It's just gonna be me. So that's trouble.
There it is.
Yes.
8 to 11 at Cheers. Well,
Yep.
that's got to be at least you don't have to drive very far to haul the equipment to that one.
No, and like if my wife will be there and everything, and so I've always got a DD. She's amazing that way.
Especially on St. Patrick's weekend. Will you be singing, "Oh, Danny boy"?
Boy,
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Huh?
Or When Irish Eyes Are Smiling.
Oh, yeah.
The Drunken Sailor, that's a favorite of mine.
You could sing songs from Irish artists, like I don't know, U2 comes to mind.
U2 is good. Steve Earle is as Irish as they come, and he's got a song called Galway Girl that I like to do. But he's got a lot of other songs too. He did Copperhead Road and some other stuff. But he's as Irish as they get.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a list here. It seems that U2, of course, one of the most well-known. That's who I went to. Yeah. I don't even know some.
Well, wasn't Sinead O'Connor?
Sinead.
Yeah.
Rest her. Sinead must be an Irish name because here's Sinead O'Brien. Does anything sound more Irish?
Yikes! Give me a pint.
No, but then you also singing tomorrow night too.
Tomorrow night we're at the Eagles. That would be me and Bree. Colleen, she decided she was going to take a lame excuse and go to like Florida or someplace.
Did she visiting her mom or something?
I don't know what she's doing down there. I saw on a post. I think it's a big birthday actually, and all the girls are taking off except Bree. Bree decided to stay back and help me. So, sucks to be her. But
you mean a big birthday for Colleen or her mom?
I think so. I don't know that. I'll probably hear about that if I'm wrong, but it could
30,
be.
Right? She's turning 30.
Yeah,
big
30.
Landmark.
I'm working with kids here. It's ridiculous. So I've had one time where a person came up and said, "Oh, are you singing with your granddaughters?"
Oh, ouch.
Oh, yeah, that doubled me over pretty hard.
Ouch.
But mostly it's like, "Oh, these are your daughters." So that's bad enough, but not as bad as granddaughters.
What do you like to sing the most of your collection? I know you got a lot of regulars. What genre or artist do you like to sing the most?
And I struggle with that because I like just about all music. I mean, just about. There's some I can't.
I hear you.
Yep. But for the most part, and you hear a lot of these guys on the country stations like, yeah, I cut my teeth on George Jones and Merle Haggard and Johnny Cash, and I'm like, I don't know if you did or you didn't, because I think you're young enough to be my son, but I know that's what I cut my teeth on, like the Statler Brothers. That old country to me. Not many people like Waylon Jennings. I mean, a lot of people don't sing that. And I kind of pride myself on the fact that I can kind of sort of pull that off.
Yeah.
Like Marty Robbins. Oh, absolutely. I mean, just stuff like that. Otherwise, a go-to is like the 90s country, because that's when I was playing drums in the band. Big time back then, but I got my start, and somebody asked me that at the senior center the other day. So how did you get started doing this? And I said, well, I was between 8th and 9th grade in high school, And I had a couple of old boys reach out to me and say, "Hey, you ever thought about playing drums in a polka band?" I'm like, well, I
No.
can't drive. But they would come and pick me up, me and my drum set, and drag me all over the place. And so
Wow.
I learned a lot about people just watching people. What I learned most is like when you would do a polka dance, the guys would show up with their gal and never dance with their gal. They dance with everybody else.
Hmm.
So it was a social thing, you know.
Yeah.
It was a chance to like talk with somebody different or whatever. And then of course the floor was always sticky when you started, and so they get out the what I call the broken hip in a can, you know, that wax that they put out
Yeah.
there. Yep. And they'd go a song, and then it's like, "What are you trying to kill us?" And then they'd sweep it all off there. I'm like, okay, so that worked out pretty good.
Notice here what Brittany said. Flogging Molly is Irish.
Oh yes.
My brother-in-law and sister-in-law went to see Flogging Molly in Mankato here about 9 days ago last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
I heard good things about it.
I looked him up and found him on YouTube. I like their vibe because they've got an accordion and a banjo, and yet there's a heaviness to.
Yep. Oh, and
Dropkick
Murphys is another one. And there's another song, and I can't remember who did it, but "Walk the Plank." It was one of my kids' favorite songs back in the day. And it's all you can tell right away, you know, that it's Irish.
Look at this from Trista here. We have Jukebox Live booked to play our employee recognition event in May.
Yes, we are. We are. And
can you say who that is? Would you be?
She's actually a relative.
Oh. Okay.
I believe anyway.
They're amazing.
And she's
does it count like if your own mother says you're amazing?
Yeah, I think so, but I think it's always taken with like, what else is she gonna say?
No, you are. I hope I can catch.
Morning, Jamie. Morning.
You know Jamie?
Oh, I know Jamie. Yeah.
So absolutely. Jamie and her dog there reached out to me a few weeks ago. Yeah. She's trying to get in a contest to win like $15,000 and get her dog on the cover of a magazine.
Yep. And she's an amazing singer.
So somebody, if anybody knows about computers, look at how, I mean, you're a sound and light guy.
I know.
It looks like you got a crew. I've got like 4 lights now, and every time I add a light, the computer just dims it more. What? There now. What? Now it's good. Why does it change so much? I need a crew.
You know, you got to get one of these lights I have in the garage here. It's like a spotlight, but it works. I can see. Like I told you, I've seen things in this garage that I have not seen in years because there's light.
Mr. Burns.
Oh boy.
Sadly, the wizard was my aunt. Oh well. Okay.
But you know what?
That might be a little.
Well, she wasn't a bad person at all.
Personal there.
You learned. I learned a lot from her. I did because it was like, well, so you never know which one is going to call today, you know. But it was a good learning. And as a young guy, you know, typically you go out there and you're just looking to like kick butt and take names, and I don't care. But I learned to listen.
You commented when we were set up yesterday about how people still see you around town. You're retired now, but even people who maybe you met on terms that weren't the best,
right?
But they seem to appreciate you to this day.
Yeah,
even after trouble.
Yep, I didn't. I never got to be like a sergeant, and I ran for sheriff 3 times and whatever.
Hey, that reminds me.
Oh yeah. Well, and I was going to say, you know, from the angle I had, it just said buns, and I'm like, well, that's cool.
In fact, this one goes back.
That's way back. That's early 2000s.
Yeah, I was going to say 20 some years ago.
One of the first ones. That was my colors from the first one. But
anyway, I interrupted.
And it's fine. Quite frankly, that if I have something that I feel really good about over the course of my career, is that I was really good to people, and sometimes they didn't want to tell me some things, but they did. And people do that for two reasons. One, they feel like they need to get that off their chest, and the other is they're trusting who they're talking to. But there's all kinds of people that I run across these days, and they don't shy away from me. They don't, flip me off. I mean, I get a hug. From these guys, and
Wow.
and it's like, I understand. I always understood over the course of my career that people make mistakes. I make mistakes every day, and so I never judged. And I think as a result of that, there's a lot of relationships that I have with people that will never go away, ever.
It seems, Dan, the theme here is that in any business, relationships,
Yep.
connections,
Yep.
human beings are
Right.
important.
Yep. How do you put a price tag on that? How do you just write that off? How do you? I mean, that's what it's all about. If you want to, and I don't never wanted to go anywhere, but it just like that just seemed like the right thing to do.
Burns and Burns sounds like a law firm or a car-oriented 70s detective show. I like the detective show part.
I like that part of it. A law firm? Well, I don't know.
We could have a theme and everything.
Right. Yep. And we could use that. We could use the Creeper song for that 70s.
You're
car.
talking about Vehicle, Ides of March.
Right.
I never, I knew that song, and you always drag me into singing it when.
But you sing it better than anybody.
There's the line though. I think it's what it would be about somebody taking advantage of someone in LA. I'm the vehicle to you becoming a star, right? So hop inside my car. I got pictures. I got candy. I can make you a star. It's the creepiest song, I think.
Yeah, but now you're getting past the drums and the beat. And I mean, it's just a great. I love how they lay that down. It is. It's a good song. You can go there with it.
Jill asked if we'd sing. It's difficult in this format. You got just enough of a delay that I don't think that would work. And I seem to have been losing my voice here.
Oh no.
Oh, Alyssa has lights.
Yeah.
Every light I add just makes the thing
dimmer.
So I don't know. I got to get a new camera if I'm going to keep doing this. Bridget, stop by the KCAO and say hi. Oh, Candioi County Attorney's Office.
Yes.
They miss you over there. I know that.
I miss those guys big time. That was my work family.
Yeah.
So you go to work and you just have those that are around you, and the county attorney's office is attached. And I mean, they didn't have to, they could walk like 3 steps, and just looking at the camera, I knew who it was just by the way they walked.
Look at this from somebody over there who just said, we didn't see him much, but we knew he was watching, and just knowing he was there, we felt good.
Yeah.
You never know how many bad situations diffused at the courthouse door by Dan warmly greeting people on their way to court. Miss you, Dan.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'll tell you, that's the key right there. If people come in, and the most accurate read you would get on a person is when they got out of their car and how they slammed their door, if they slammed their door.
Jason.
Yeah.
Sheriff, deputy.
Yeah. Well, same thing. But then, so when they hit the door, then their demeanor would change quite a bit. But, always make them earn it. Kill them with kindness. And then if you got to put your hands on or take care of business, then you got to. But otherwise, I found over the course of my 39 years that I was able to deal with it. Just gift a gab and little knowledge about this, little knowledge about that. And then you're on board with them. So.
And before we close, thank you, John, who's the one who suggested either law firm or 70s detective show and auto dim. Thank
Right?
you. I'm usually pretty tech savvy here, but this game, thank you, John.
There's
Learned
always
that.
that guy, that's paying attention. It's like, okay.
Oh, here's another one you knew over at the county
Oh, yeah.
attorney's office. You could be a volunteer for the Circle program
You know
every
what?
2 weeks. I
And
do that in my wife's
Tony,
circle.
I think I could probably do a fairly decent job with what I went through over
Yes.
the 39 years.
Do the one that I do, though.
Yeah,
Please
that'd be
join
fun.
my circle.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I really have learned a lot from.
We'll give
that.
them a little B squared on the run.
And if people don't know, that's the program where teens we get into some trouble rather than just taking the charge. You go to court, and here's the thing on your record, and pay the fine, and then you haven't learned anything from that. It's more about restoring relationships and how that affected the person you've harmed, and how that has affected the neighbors in the community, and resolving it. And
I don't know if I'd be a perfect candidate for that, because what I noticed changed over the course of my career was you used to get all kinds of big parties that got busted and kids would get underage consumption tickets. And then that disappeared. I mean, it's extremely rare where you see that anymore, because it's all kind of switched to narcotics in some form. And so on occasion, though, a kid would come in on an underage consumption charge, and I'd be like giving him high fives and saying, "Hey, that a kid, that a boy," and he's looking at me like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Well, so you had a beer." Yep. So I'll take that. I'll take that, having a beer over getting into the drugs and the meth and things like that, but still they walk away like looking back, shaking their head like there's something wrong with that guy.
No, everybody's fighting for you. No, join my circle, says Jill. And then Christy, no, I want a Burns in one of my circles.
Well,
I used to be in Christie's when I first started. Brittany, you could be a hospice volunteer. Look at our suggestions.
Yes.
That
girl can sing. Jamie can sing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, she can.
There's going to be some opportunities for you tonight. At Cheers. Tomorrow night at the Eagles Club downtown. Try to catch one of those.
We tend to just get the big names up there, the ones that I know can carry a tune in a bucket, and you're one of those guys, and so it's always fun when you get up there.
Since you mentioned it, a lot of those or some of the Candy Ojai County people are a little gathering tonight. So I don't know if we'd make it to Raymond, but the Eagles tomorrow. That's walkable for me.
So. Yeah, absolutely.
I might consider that.
You can call that.
It's a pleasure as always, and hopefully we see you tonight or tomorrow. Happy St. Patrick's Day weekend from one Burns to another. Remember, we were an unruly clan.
We were, and we shall continue to be.
If you missed any of it, the whole thing will be available on Facebook and YouTube. Check out the channels. Click the like, love, share, subscribe. Help a couple brothers out. Spread it around. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, take care.